Welcome to McMean Machine. Today we are going over part 4 of our FCU pistol series, and today we are going over the Springfield Echelon. Now, I have a different background behind me today, and that's because I'm actually reviewing this over at Hillsdale College. I reached out to those guys and asked if I could shoot the Springfield Echelon because they have a partnership with Springfield, and they said, yeah, come on down. So we have a different setting for part of this video. There might be some back and forth, just that's the reason why. Okay, so let's start off just going front to back here. So we have a polymer frame striker fired gun. It has a capacity of 17 plus 1. However, it does come with magazines that are a 21 plus 1 capacity, I believe. I believe it comes with 3 mags. I think you get a 17 round and 2 21 round mags. It is not made by Springfield. It's made by HS Product, which is a company over in Croatia, but Springfield imports them. And let's just go front to back here. So we have a 4.5 inch barrel, which I think is honestly, for a full-size gun, I think that's the ideal barrel length there. We have some super aggressive slide serrations that kind of come over the top. We also have a flare. It's kind of like a lightened slide without the lightning cuts that go all the way through. And I think that's a good idea because that helps prevent dirt from getting in there, but it also lowers the reciprocating mass. We also have some good slide serrations on the back here with some flared ears, if that's what you want to call them. The grip texture, very nice. If you've ever had a Springfield Hellcat, it feels pretty comparable. Something I actually really like about this gun is the ambidextrous mag release. And why I like it is it feels like just a normal mag release. Like most ambidextrous mag releases, they have more oomph. You really got to push them in a little bit harder. And also they tend to just get in the way. Like for example, as you can see where the magazine releases in on this side. A lot of times with ambidextrous mag releases, you'll push it and it'll be pushing into your middle finger on the opposite side of the frame. But this one has it where it's just out of the way and it doesn't get in the way at all. We have some of the Springfields have the dual captured recoil spring. However, this is just the normal flat wire with the guide rod. The guide rod is plastic if that matters to you. The Echelon comes with 2 types of sights. They either have the 3-dot tritium sights, or it has the front tritium with the rear U, and this would be my preferred sighting setup. Get you a sight picture there. This gun also has its own optic mounting system, and what it is essentially built into the slide here. It's like its own optics plate kit, where you have a variety of pins that you can put in. And that's what changes the footprint. So you can have a variety of different optics mount directly to it without any plates, which is honestly a great idea. Now, something else about this gun is it is a FCU style gun where it has the serialized chassis. I think they call it a COG, which is Central Operating Group. I believe that's what Springfield calls it. Each company has their own thing that they call it. Yeah, so, and if you don't know what that is, just to explain, the only serialized part on the gun is the trigger assembly. And what that means is you could pull out this trigger assembly and you could put it in a different sized frame where they have a compact model, which is like the 15 flush fit Glock 19 size style with the 4-inch barrel. And you can essentially have multiple guns with one trigger assembly. So if you wanted something for home defense, but you also wanted something to carry, but you only wanted to buy one gun for whatever reason, you could do that. You can also customize it that way as well with different colors and slide lengths and all that stuff. Moving on down here, we have a pretty good trigger. If you've ever shot the XDM series of triggers, the trigger shoe is very similar to that, but there's no ridges on the front. It's completely smooth. And I'll just show you what that looks like here. So here is the break. Reset. Break. So it's got a pretty good trigger. Now, to be fair, this gun, according to the guy here, this gun has probably between 5,000 and 10,000 rounds through it. And, you'd hope most triggers with that kind of round count on them are pretty well broken. But I would say it feels like a 4-pound trigger pull at this point. Okay, so for our testing, we did not do 500 rounds like we normally do, mostly, well, for a variety of reasons. Shot outside, and it was cold, and my hands were beginning to hurt. But also, as I mentioned, this gun has roughly between 5,000 and 10,000 rounds through it, and he said there's been no parts breakages at all. Something I did notice, though, that's worth mentioning is that the reset on the gun feels very faint. It's not super crisp. There are times when I was shooting, I had a hard time telling when I reached the reset. And the guy that was with me here at the range, he's a competitive shooter, and he said that for him, the reset, it never failed to reset, but he's a competitive shooter, and he swapped out the reset spring to regain that, capability. Okay, before we get too far into the review, I want to give some background information here. So the guy that met me at the range was a competitive shooter, and he runs the Echelon, okay? So I was asking him all sorts of questions, and a lot of the information I'm going to be giving in this video comes from him. That to say, I'm still going to be sharing my experience with the gun and my overall impression of it. But if I have a guy available to me who's literally shot thousands of rounds through this gun, of course I'm going to ask him his overall impressions of it. Just going over the testing we did with the ammunition, we shot Federal, CCI Blazer Brass, and CCI with the aluminum case. We also shot Fiocchi Defense Dynamics, 147 grain, as well as Winchester White Box. Now, of all of this ammunition, the only one that the Echelon struggled with on occasion, well, twice to be specific, was with the Winchester White Box, which honestly is known for causing malfunctions, so I don't really knock the Echelon too much. After all, it fed the aluminum cased ammo fine. The guy that was there with me, that was with Hillsdale College, he said he personally runs Fiocchi and Supervel out of the gun and has had no problems with that at all. If you noticed in the shooting footage, we shot two different Echelons. One of them was the one that belonged to the college. The other one was the one that the competitive shooter let me borrow as his own personal one. However, both of them were completely stock with the exception of the optic on his. So what was my experience with the Springfield Echelon? Well, I would say I was very whelmed. And what I mean by that is I had very high expectations for it, and overall, I'd say the Echelon met them. The gun was super ergonomic, pointed super naturally, grip texture was great, same as that of the Springfield Hellcat. I had a great optics mounting system. The slide serrations were near perfect. There was a lot of thought put into this gun, and it really shows. When you really sit and you look at it, you can just kind of tell. They took their time with this to work to put out a good product. Honestly, the only thing I think I'd change about the Springfield Echelon is the trigger shoe. Again, plastic trigger shoe, I'm not a fan of that. But you can get aftermarket trigger shoes that are aluminum, so no big deal. Bringing me to my next point though, there is a pretty good aftermarket for the Springfield Echelon. When they launched this thing, they made sure that they had a wide range of holsters that were automatically available to the purchaser upon releasing the firearm. Not only that, but Springfield has already come out with multiple frames and colors with this gun. With this die. Not only that, but Springfield has already come out with multiple frame sizes and colors for this gun. So who is this gun for? Well, given that they have compact models, you could use this for EDC. The full size you can use for home defense. They have threaded barrels. They have a comped model where they have a single port comp up front. I mean, they really ticked all the boxes with this gun, in my opinion. With all of that to say, with the base gun being honestly excellent, what about the aftermarket, right? So aftermarket is also pretty excellent. When Springfield launched this gun, they made sure that they had a variety of holster companies launching holsters available for it at the same time. They have the compact frames already out. They have multiple colors. They have threaded barrels. They have a compensated version where they have a single port comp up front. I mean, if you want it, they basically got it. And what did our unnamed competitive shooter have to say about it? Honestly, a lot. He said a lot of good things about it. He talked about the reliability. He talked about how shootable it is. He honestly, I mean, he said a lot, and I don't remember all of it. But the key points: thousands of rounds through the gun, no parts breakages, very little malfunctions. What more can you ask for? I mean, he shoots it for competition, right? If he didn't like it, he probably wouldn't be using it for comp. So what's the price point of this gun? Well, if you look, you can kind of see it all over the place. I see it from anywhere between $450 to $700. Me personally, if I were to go out and buy one, which honestly I might, I would aim for around the $600 price point. I think if you bought it for that, you would get a good deal. Hey, so I was in the process of editing this video, and I'm recording this on another day because the Glock Gen 6 just dropped. And at first I was like, you know, it looks cool. I'm glad they made some of the changes that people have been asking for years. But then I also got thinking, they're doing everything the Springfield Echelon already does. They improved the slide serrations. The Springfield Echelon has great slide serrations. They added palm swell. The Echelon has that. They added grip texture up past the magazine released. The Echelon does that. They added a slightly flared magwell. The Echelon does that. They gave it a flat trigger shoe. The Echelon does that. They have a optics mounting system where you can mount more than one type of red dot. The Echelon does that already. The only thing is that the Echelon has a cog. They call it the serialized chassis. And the Glock doesn't. And the Glock takes Glock mags, okay? So, I don't know. They're kind of just catching up to where the Echelon already was, in my opinion. And you can get the Echelon for cheaper. The Glock's not out yet. It's coming out in January, but the MSRP, I believe, is like over $700. And yeah. Oh, and Springfield offers a lifetime warranty with their products. I believe Glock is like 5 years, if I remember. So that's something to think about. On top of that, I do want to give a thank you to Hillsdale College. I really appreciate you guys letting me come out and shoot, use one of your guns, providing me the facility to do so. That's pretty cool, and thank you. And for the record, Hillsdale College doesn't sponsor this channel in any capacity at all. They're just somewhat local to me, so I made the drive to go check them out. But I do want to take a second to appreciate them further because, after all, they are a college that has a shooting sports program. Not many colleges do that. So I just want to take the time to say I appreciate what you're doing, and I think it's a good thing. Please consider liking and subscribing. Reason being, I'm about to give you a lesson on YouTube monetization here, is you can't be monetized until you hit 500 subscribers. And even then, it's only like people can donate to your channel. If you want to get ads or anything like that, it has to be 1,000 subscribers. And on that note, companies typically won't give you any sort of sponsorship, like send you products for review or anything like that, unless you have 1,000 subscribers. So if you want me to keep reviewing content and you want to keep watching and learning more, really the best way to do it is just liking to help the algorithm and subscribing. And if you have anything to say, any feedback, good or bad, put it in the comments. And I'd be happy to have a respectful conversation on what I can do better. But with all that, onto my 2 facts. First one, I figured it would be good to do a Croatian related fact, since the Springfield Echelon comes from there. And that is the necktie was also created in Croatia. So thanks for that, I guess. And on to my religious-based fact. We do a worldly fact and a religious-based fact every video. Today's going to involve the Ark of the Covenant specifically. Now, this isn't really a fact. It's something that's quoted in tradition. But tradition would state that the prophet Jeremiah hid the Ark before Jerusalem was sacked by the Babylonians. So, if that's true or not, I have absolutely no idea. But it's a neat thought. There's a lot of myths out there like God hid the Ark where no one would ever find it, and we have no evidence of that. Up next, we'll be reviewing the Ruger RXM. I don't have it here with me to show you. He just went out to go buy milk. He said he'll be right back. but I'm just kidding. It's in the mail. I haven't received it yet, but I'll keep you posted, and that'll be the next and final episode in our FCU pistol series. Thanks for watching.